Hi folks, so this is part 2. This is when we're going to adjust the actual valve timing. But before we can adjust the valves, we need the engine at top dead centre. So to do that, we need to turn the crankshaft, and to get in at the crank shaft adjuster rotator thingy, we need to remove this. So what you need here is a 14mm Allen key. It's a big one, so you probably don't have something that size in your socket set, but it's something you're actually going to need for the job. So in the service kit, I've probably mentioned this in the previous or the next video, is there's an O-ring that's supplied with the service kit from Hitchcock's. The old one was in good condition, but I changed it anyway because it was there. I'd rather do that than end up with an oil weep and have to do it later. So that's the O-ring, rubber O-ring in there. So what we need to do now is you get a 17mm socket. You need quite a long one to get in, and to get the engine round to top dead centre, you need to rotate the engine anti-clockwise. That's the direction it would normally turn. And what you need to see is a hole in the camshaft. So you're looking for a hole in this dark bit here coming round. So you turn that, inlet valve's opening, and it'll come up shut again, and then the wee hole's coming into view now. So you can see it there. What you want is this dead on 12 o'clock. So rotating again, just a little bit more, tiny little bit more, and that's it. You actually feel the socket, ding, lunchtime bell. So you actually feel the socket going a little bit slack as you do that. So we can now adjust the valves. So to do that, you need to loosen the locking nut. So you'll need a 10mm ring spanner and a flathead screwdriver to turn the adjuster screw up and down, and a feeler gauge. So at the rear it is 0.08mm feeler gauge. That's the inlet valve at the back where the fuel and air come in, and then you need 0.18 for the exhaust valve at the front where the exhaust goes out. The reason being that they're different is the intake valve's cooler because it's getting the fuel air mixture coming in, and that keeps that a bit cooler. And then at the front you've got the hot exhaust gases going out, so you get more thermal expansion. So that's why there's a larger clearance at the exhaust valve. So I'll go set the camera up, put my glasses back up. I'll go set the camera up round the other side of the bike so you can actually see a bit better, because at this side I'm trying to work round, and but if I put the camera at the other side you'll be able to see what's going on. So I'll be with you in one moment. Okay, so that's us set up, and I've already slackened off the locking nuts. You need a 10mm spanner for that. And now I'm going to put the feeler gauge in. So the inlet valve is 0.08mm. So you have to scooch it in there, and then you slide it back and forwards. Now because I backed this up, it's really quite slack. So tighten it down, and the common consensus is you set it down so it's a bit on the tight side, and then you tighten the locking nut up. So if you're doing anything inside the engine, it's always good to keep your tools really clean so you don't drop bits of grit and it could find their way into the oil galleries and jets and things. So nice clean tools. So that's that. it's supposed to be 11 Newton meters on the locking nut, but if you can't hold the adjuster still, while you've got a torque wrench in there, so you end up knacking your adjustment. That's a bit slack. So I'm going to tighten it down just a wee bit more. I'm going to go around, tighten that up again, and then have a wee feel. That's rock solid. So back it up a wee touch, ever so slightly, lock the nut, slide it back and forwards. Still not very much drag on that, so it needs to be a wee bit tighter again. So back that way. Let's have a feel. That's too tight. Up a wee bit. Right. Let's have a feel. Without locking it this time. Oh, there we go. That feels nice. It's got a nice bit of drag in it now. So when I lock it down with the locking nut, that'll lift it ever so slightly. So hopefully it stays where I want it, because it's very slightly tight. So screwdriver back in, hold it still. That's the nut tightened. Yeah, that feels good. That's that one. Yeah, what is it? No, not yet. That's my 2-year-old grandson Roman. He's wanting to come and help. He calls it helping, but it's just hitting my bike with tools. Right, the front one, the exhaust valve. Now, the feeler gauge you need for the front is 0.18 millimeters. So this is going to be a bigger gap at the front, because the exhaust valve is hotter and you get more thermal expansion. So get that in, have a feel. That's really slack, so bring it down, bring it down. It's a wee bit tight there, so back it up slightly. It's jumped out. There we go. Back in. That is slack. That feels pretty good there, so I'm going to lock it up now. So that's the adjuster nut turned down with my fingers, but it's not tight. So I'll get the tools again. So that 10mm spanner on, hold the adjuster still, tighten it down, and have another wee feel with the feeler gauge. Can't even move it. So I'll hold this again, back it off ever so slightly, have a feel. No, still tight. Back this round a wee bit more. Still on the tight side. The screw's in a really awkward place now because it's kind of straightforward. Try coming in for this side. Yeah, that's better. I can turn it for there. So let's have a feel now. That's probably a wee bit in the slack side. Yeah, that's slack. So I'll give it a slight tighten down. Not yet, Roman. What? I said not yet, buddy. I've got all the grandkids at the side gate, and the side gate's locked so they can't get out. It's like a zoo. It's like a child's zoo. Right, let's see. No, that's slack. That's slack. So anyway, this is basic procedure. You just go back and forward until you're happy. Right, I'll lock it there. See how it feels now. That's a nice bit of drag actually. Quite happy with that. Yep, that's good. So that's the 0.18 for the exhaust valve, and that's the exhaust valve. So that's 0.18 millimeters, and that intake valve is 0.08 millimeters. So once you're happy with the adjustments and you're happy that you've tightened the locking nuts, then it's reassembly, and that is going to be part 3. So I'll put the gasket back over, and I've already recorded part 3. This is a crazy video because I keep doing things in stages, and we keep having grandkids, and then the weather was a bit crummy for a day or two, so I had to like put the rocker cover back on, basically reassemble the bike. And now I've got a nice day. The grandkids are back again. So because they're off school today, you see, so that's why they're back. So yeah, I'm just watering on a bit, just slavering on. So that's why the video is in 3 stages. So the first stage, disassembly, take the petrol tank off and the rocker cover. This one today, what I've done is I've adjusted the inlet valve and the exhaust valve whilst having the camshaft and the crankshaft and all this kind of stuff at top dead centre. That's really important bit. And then the next video will just be me putting everything back together again. So I hope this has been useful for you. And it's not a definitive how-to, it is me messing with my bike, doing my thing. So if you're in doubt about anything, refer to the service manual. Okay, thank you very much, and I'll see you in part 3.